Thank you, my producer, Josiah. Good evening and welcome to Crib Conversations. My name is Camille Evans and I am your moderator for this evening. I want to give a shout out to our host, Cinematic Music Group, Johnny Stripes and the crew for continuing to push and promote the culture. Tonight, our rules of engagement. We are in the midst of the living legends of hip hop. And I am really excited to be amongst everyone because you know it's hard to get hip hop on the phone to call you back. And hip hop call me back like they always do. So I appreciate you guys for always supporting me. It's really funny. I was thinking that when I put this panel together and thank you for rounding up everybody else, it's like I have a personal connection somehow throughout my career to each and every one of you. And, you know, I want to thank you because, you know, everyone, we couldn't have done it without each other. And, you know, we did it for love in the very beginning and we still doing it. So for you guys to continue to be so relevant after all of this time, bravo. Bravo to you.
Bravo.
My rules of engagement, I have general questions for each and every one of you tonight, because I think it's important that we get as much perspective as possible. So I just want you kind of to jump in, you know, with answers to everything. So let's talk about the current state of hip hop tonight. Do you guys feel musically that the culture of hip hop is dead, or is hip hop constantly evolving for the better?
Who wants to start that? Who wants to start that one?
I mean, I'll go ahead and start and say that hip hop is definitely not dead. You know, it's all where you looking at it. You know, like if you're looking at the mainstream, what the mainstream gives you, you know, it would give you the appearance that it's dying. You know what I mean? But then if you look at the underground and really search for that real hip hop, there's plenty of creative, new, dope. I don't like to use the word evolving, but you know, growing, adding on to the real foundation of this shit. There's a lot of that out there too, and it's gonna keep coming. So I definitely don't feel like hip hop is dead, but there's definitely motherfuckers out there that's trying to kill it. I'll tell you that.
Well, why you say that, Jamal? Explain.
I mean, because, you know, a lot of the elements that that everybody on this call right now knows as hip hop is being removed.
Right.
Like even the way you would construe somebody's verse. You know what I mean? Like these sing-songy verses is not really, I mean, they rhyme, but they not really rhymes in the way that like, how you gonna battle somebody with some like, with the type of shit that they be doing? Like it's crazy. Or you know, a lot of the elements have been removed. DJing has been removed.
The word hip hop gets thrown around on things that ain't hip hop, and that's the problem. And then you become the old head saying, oh, you know, that's not hip hop. It's not even about that. It's just literally they use the word for the wrong things now that ain't even hip hop. And it's like, you know, it's like giving a loaded gun to a child, and it's just getting thrown around everywhere. And you know, now you see things like, and I don't even dislike him. Like his music's cool, but like for someone like Post Malone to win a hip hop award, it's like that's not hip hop music. It's pop music. Like it's literally not hip hop. It's not even up for argument. He doesn't rap. It's not hip. Like that's not hip hop. He might have a rapper on his song, but so did Mariah Carey. She wasn't winning hip hop awards. Like it's hip hop is a word thrown around in the wrong way. And you know,
to me, the music we call pop music. It's popular music. It's not hip hop, brother. I mean, to me, hip hop is dead to me. But motherfuckers is trying to resuscitate it. You understand what I'm saying? You still got people like in Japan.
Fado, I don't want to break you up. Clark, turn on your audio and your video. You're in. Just turn your audio and video on. Go ahead, Fado. I'm sorry.
Hello, sir.
Peace to the gods.
Oh,
Fatal's in the house.
That's right, brother.
Doesn't that
so like I was saying, I mean, hip hop to me, you could say is on life support. It's on life support. Okay, I'm not gonna say it's dead, but it's on life support. And there's a lot of people. There's still people trying to resuscitate it, but you know, like you still got the Japanese, you know, trying to keep the breakdancing thing going on. You still got this, you got that. But like Static said, they're putting the label hip hop on something that's not hip hop. I mean, all of that new music that's out right now is not hip hop. To me, it's popular music. It's pop music.
There's a lot of great hip hop out though. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I didn't get to the end of the point is that hip hop in one way is in a better place than ever because there's so many lanes and anyone can make it happen now with some great shit without the tools that you used to have to, that you couldn't even get if you weren't living in New York or LA or certain cities. Now anybody can make amazing hip hop. Like kids come from Pittsburgh and kids from the suburbs and all over the world, they love it, can like literally just keep it authentic and blow up being themselves.
Can I just say something real quick? I think before you go or we go too far into the conversation, first of all, peace to the God, Lord Jamal, peace to my boy Royal Flush, and peace to my boy Static Selector. Peace to you, Camille. But I think we need to approach the conversation properly. We need to stop talking about hip-hop music because there's no such thing. Hip-hop is a culture. The music that lives within it is called rap. Let's talk about rap music because there's no such thing as hip-hop music. Hip-hop is a whole culture. So can we do that instead?
It's labeled that way, though. That's the thing. On iTunes,
I'm saying you can't, if you live and you are of the culture, you need to protect it properly. So you need to address it properly. So let's us, in this small room that we started, address it as rap music because that's what it is. It lives within the culture that we take care of or try to take care of.
Well, Clark, you think this new generation is living hip hop as a culture?
Here's the reason why. If they're not, they're not. Is because hip hop is the only culture that doesn't cultivate itself. So the kids are growing up feeling how they want to feel. But you have to understand, there's a 10-year gap of OGs that disappeared. And because of that gap, the young kid is not looking at the old guy like it makes sense, even though we built the thing that they're trying to do.
Valid.
But do they only do that in hip hop? Because I feel like when you deal with karate, you know, they look at the person that taught them. They call them a master, or on other things there's a most high. I think in hip hop it's like a rap. They call us
unk. They call us unk. They don't call us
old school. They call us old heads or something like that. How come we don't get that praise? Why we don't get that praise for what we put in our work? So I think anything even basketball players before me, I felt like I had to study their craft if I wanted to know about basketball. Why are we giving these young kids not to study history before they start making music?
Well, think about this. The reason why things started to splinter off is because money happened. And rappers started getting to money. And so rappers started removing themselves from the culture. And then the money started separating rappers from DJs. So this thing, the way it was built, starts to splinter off because a record label's going, I don't need your DJ. I need you. So when things start to get in the middle of the thing that we created, the way that you teach it is going to get different. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like when rap started. We would go home and we'd be like, yo, Ma, yo, dad, yo, listen to this record. And they look at us like we're crazy. Not thinking, let me support what you're listening to. At least let me give it an ear. Let me try to understand it. The difference is we started to understand it. And then money started to splinter it and separate it. So the guys who was getting money was looking at the other guy like, yeah, I don't really have to talk to him about nothing. I'm over here getting this paper. And because we come from disenfranchised neighborhoods, we getting the money and we gone. We're not getting the money and coming back and saying, this is how you get to it. And this is what it's about. And this is how we own it. And this is how we keep it and care about it. And this is how you tell the young boy, yeah, that rap that you're doing is bullshit. If you don't tell them, then they're not going to know. But you can't scream it at them now after 10 years of an age gap that's fucked them over. You have to slowly, one, start to listen to what they're doing, try to figure it out, try to understand it, and then talk to them about how to make it better without insulting them at the same time, because they're probably looking at y'all going, or looking at the older guys going, I just made $1 million the other day. Like, I don't have to hear you telling me about how you have to rap better, because the business of music didn't actually care about the skills. They cared about the records. We care about the skills because we built it. We're architects. We're crafting it. You know what I'm saying? Joe, come on, Joe. I know you since you was like 17 years old, B. I knew you and cared about you because you could rap. Jamal, come on, Jamal. I ain't know you since you was a teenager.
You the first one to play our records.
I'm the first one to play your records. Yo, come on, Flush. Yo, Clark. Come on, Flush.
Yo, Clark.
$1 million. I got remixes from Clark from when I was 19 years old, man.
Yo, Clark.
Yes.
Yo, Clark. I was at one of your parties when I exchanged numbers with my wife, and I've been with my wife 29 years.
That's really nice.
Imagine how long I know you. I know you over 30 years. I actually got my wife's number at your party.
That's a beautiful thing. But I look at Static too, right? Static knows, no question, he can look at this older guy, and this older guy didn't shun him. This older guy was like, yo, I fucks with you. I like your music. If there's anything you need, you holler at me. But the problem is, a lot of us are looking at the young boys and not going, I'm going to embrace you. We're going, y'all niggas suck. And it doesn't matter if they suck. What matters is that they're willing to learn and they're willing to hear. And we have to start addressing them with a certain amount of respect, because they can look at us, turn around and go, we don't want to hear it. We're going to be over here. And our language is different than y'all's, just like our language was different than our parents' language when we was doing it.
I mean, it's a valid point, and the fact that, you know, most of the artists that I'm dealing with now are really young. That's their mentality, that they don't owe anybody anything. And I think there's a really big gap where these are not embracing them and they're not having the conversations. And I kind of brought it up a little bit when Ralph was on the other panel, and his whole thing was like, you got to kind of point the finger at yourself and figure out like, well, what did I do and why am I so upset that I can't fix this? And somehow, but I think there's a need to fix it, because these young boys are running around just real clueless, as we could see.
Wait, you have to ask, are they clueless? Are they not necessarily really worrying about what happened? They're worried about what's happening.
Yeah.
There's both.
Yeah,
there's both.
It's both too. Yeah, I think it's a lot of.
So there's a conversation. It's like very similar. I have it. You know, I'm a generation between a lot of y'all and the youngest y'all now. I'm kind of in between. You know, when I met Mac Miller, when I met Joey Badass, and now I have these convos with YB and Corday now. You know, all three of those artists are very smart kids, but a big thing I stress, and you know, they all went on to have hit records and all that, but I always stress to them, like, always get that Primo record, the Pete Rock record. Like, you're going to have your hits, you're going to have your big records that work with the kids and the TikToks and all that, but always keep that, because you have a responsibility now. Being a dope-ass MC in 2020, you have enough power where these kids are watching. And I think, you know, Joey's done an amazing job with bringing someone, like, I've met 12-year-olds that know who Capone and Noriega are because of Joey Badass and shit like that. Like, there's a lot of kids watching that now and learning about Mobb Deep and, you know, Brand Nubian and all that. But the point is like, I have those convos and they, like, you know, I don't know if it's gonna be a pushback or not. And I have it with a bunch of other young artists, and it's always just an embracement, and they keep it in mind. And you know, I end up getting rest in peace to Mac, but I always get the calls like years later, like, yo, I'm happy you had that conversation. Even now with like Joey literally called me this week and was like, yo, man, like every time I was gonna maybe like jump off the bridge on some hip hop shit, he's like, you always check me, and I kept it. And now his album he about to drop is like very very, you know, what we need in this climate. So
culture, yeah.
It obviously there is a lot of rappers running around that would rather just wild out and fuck everybody, have like a Kodak Black approach to it. But there are a lot of young kids like YB and Corday, Pro Era. There's a lot of kids that are like, they care about it. I mean, Pro Era adults now, but when I met them, they were all 15, 16. And it's like, they do care. They do study Wu-Tang and all the Gangstar, like, you'd be surprised, like meeting a 12-year-old kid in 2020 that knows who Guru is. That shit makes me so happy. So it's not a lost cause at all.
Exactly. But you have to understand at the same time, most of those kids have parents who are hip hop. So they didn't just let them go do whatever. Like, if My son, when he was 10, his favorite rapper was Slick Rick. Like 10, he was 10 years ago. And his favorite rapper was Slick Rick. It's because I didn't just let him wild out. I was like, oh, by the way, I know you like Kanye West, but you need to hear about this guy. Oh, I know you like this guy, but you need to hear about this. If you as a parent aren't talking to your kids properly, then your kids are just going to go outside and find out whatever they feel like. And what they're only going to find out what the kid next to them think is cool. That study process has to happen as an adult teaching kids without talking at them. You got to talk with them instead of talking at them. Like every new artist that I meet, who wants me to do a record with them or who wants me to work with them, one of the first conversations I have out in left field is, yo, you ever heard America's Most Wanted? If they say no, I say go listen to it and then come back. I don't say Brand Nubian, Slick Rick, Public Enemy. I give them something that's so foreign to them and say, come back and tell me so that I could say, you just heard a perfect album. Now approach your album. And I see Capone, and I've known Capone since he was a baby. That's my little man.
Welcome.
I'm here.
Boom, boom.
Peace, Pone.
Out for being late. I'm sorry. Flush, I see your grave, baby. Come on, baby. I love it.
Yeah, baby. That's how you look when you're 25.
Russell's about to hit you right now.
There's a lot of queens in this room. I'm feeling a little.
You know that's how Fatal gonna do.
But I'm by bro, I'm Brooklyn and Queens. Like,
True.
Yeah, my whole life.
So let's move on to industry rules number 4080. What was your experience breaking into the music business? Was it negative or positive? And knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 16-year-old self? That's for everybody. All the questions is for everybody.
Don't you believe them? That's what I would have told myself.
Wait, you said what would be the question I would tell my 16-year-old self?
Yeah, like what was your experience breaking into the business? Was it positive or negative? And knowing what you know now after having gone through everything, what would you tell your 16-year-old self back then?
I mean, shit, I would tell myself, vultures, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, this is a game where there's a lot of smoke before the fire, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people feed you false information, just a personal gain. And I'm just happy that I've known like Clark Kent, who've given me jewels before I got in the game. So when I got in the game, I was able to recognize them vultures, and it's a lot of vultures. And we talk about the vultures. But one thing about this is one of the subcultures in music, because everybody sometimes thinking for themselves. And I think that right now is the perfect time to have these forums where we could to become as one. And I wish I'd have knew this years ago, but I know it now. I wish not that I wish I knew it. I didn't take heed as a young dude. You trying to get on, or just and that.
Sorry.
Keep that seatbelt on, Flush. Keep that seatbelt on.
He ain't even driving.
Gotta be safe.
I moved up. Nah, Paul, you right. I mean, my thing at that age, I felt like it was more hands-on. Like a lot of my crew, that even if they was outside and they was doing something negative, I was able to give them something to do. Yo, call me to the city. Let's put up some stickers. Yo, call me to a club. Let's put up some flyers. I kept my crew kind of busy, so I liked it that. Nowadays, I think you have one hit guy that's in the neighborhood that's a rapper, and everybody else want to leash on, but there's no jobs or nothing for them to do but act ignorant and do some stupidity to get their name recognized. Instead of my crew, my time, I'd be like, oh, that's Flush's man. That's his hype man. Or that's the guy that hold the records. Or that's everybody had a job. So I'm more happy in my generation that I was more hands-on. All these people that's on this panel, I had to meet. It wasn't on the internet. I didn't like your Instagram. I had to actually meet you, shake your hand, and even doing my album. Every artist that I worked with was in the studio with me. I didn't just send it through email. I didn't just lay my verse. We all had to get a vibe. So and when I came out, I was so happy to meet the people and actually grind. Like I could say I met people instead of saying I seen them online. You know, so I'm more happy for when I came out that I was able to meet Clark King, go to his crib, able to meet Fatal, and be around Fatal and G-Rap and Rakim and be around Capone and Queensbridge. We didn't just say we was cousins, we lived with each other. Like, it was more hands-on to me. So I'm happy that I came from that era, the more hands-on era than the internet era.
Mm.
I feel like when you first come in the game, like, even if it's fucked up, it's still good in a way because you living out your dreams. Like, you doing what you always wanted to do. Like, you always wanted to do this rap shit, and at the time you might not know that, you know, a motherfucker's trying to get fast inside the contract. Like, for instance,
Yeah.
you know, we had a lawyer at the time. Our first lawyer, some old shiesty dude that Pooh Bah knew or whatever, some old white dude.
Yeah.
Turns out he wrote himself into the contract where he was gonna try to get like 10% perpetually forever type of shit, like some crazy shit. But we ain't know nothing about that. And we learned later, once we got our next lawyer, it was easily a letter of direction that got him out of there. But you know, that's shady, but at the same time, we in the game. Like, we was happy to, you know what I mean, be doing our thing. That was a small thing to us. It was solved. We meeting all our fucking heroes and all this type of shit. They knowing who we are. They fucking with us. Like, so that part of it, you know, is great. You know what I mean? That part of it is great.
That was the part I liked.
Fucked up.
Yep.
I definitely think you got to learn through experience, you know what I mean? And one thing about your era, you really did it for love. Because y'all definitely wasn't making the amount of money that they make it now, but you did it for creativity and you did it for love, and then the money came, and that's a totally different experience for an artist to go through. Clark, would you change anything when you started to now? What was you?
I think my experience is going to be different than Jamal, Fatal, Flush, and Capone. I think Static may almost have a synonymous story as I have. I was a hot DJ in clubs by the time I was 17. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is no one on this call who didn't know about DJ Clark Kent before they got in the game. And it was because I put the work in since I was a young boy to be in the clubs, to be DJing, to be playing records first, to make it, to be a better DJ than a lot of other people. So when I got in the game, like when a record company came and said, hey, come pick these records, it was, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, somebody comes and says, yo, come do A&R. I don't even know what the A&R stands for, but you want to give me $40,000? I'm from the street. I'm going to take that. And then when they tell me what it is, I begin to fall into, oh, that means I can give careers. Or I can help careers. And then in the midst of that, I can make records. That experience for me, I would be a liar if I said it was bad, because I would have been fine DJing and playing all the clubs and being on the radio. I didn't know, yeah, you're gonna sign some artists, you're gonna become a producer, you're gonna remix records, you're gonna have a run that's gonna give you the ability to take care of your family from playing records and from the love of music. So I wouldn't change anything, but I think there's a lot of people who could say that, and it's based off of what they did in the game. So because I'm not a rapper, I can imagine that industry rule is fucked up for rappers, for people who sign sign record deals. So when I was in a record company, because I understood how fucked up it is, I never signed a bad record deal. I never gave an artist a bad record deal. There isn't an artist that I was instrumental in their deal that could walk back and go, Clark gave me a fucked up deal. You guys, DOS Effects, MC Light, Audio 2, Yo-Yo, every artist that I was instrumental in signing, they will all walk back and go, that's a real one. Because
name that again. MC Light, or I want to hold up. You gotta know this though.
I mean, like,
Great. You was on my
artist that I've worked with. Come on, Paul.
People don't understand that though. Like they like you just said something that the average hip hop person might not know your involvement. And like so too. Like, this is all it culture is. You had your hands on with it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
People don't know that. Like,
I mean,
what? No.
I mean, you don't remember Clark? You don't remember Clark in the day video cutting and then crossing his hands and shit?
That was 80. That was 86.
So what is
that was like 86, 87.
That was 86.
What is the key to longevity? Because you guys have said a lot of stuff. So what's the key to longevity in this business? How do we stay in this business?
Honest, if you ask me, I'm gonna say it's not the business, it's the love of music. Mm. If you love the music, then you're gonna figure out how to get the business right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know Lord Jamal, when he was producing Brand Nubians, he probably didn't even realize he was a producer. He thought he was making beats. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember going to see Capone and Noriega in the studio just to go see him. I never even thought I would make records with him. It would just be, I'm checking on my young boys. And then one day it was like, Clark, we need a single. I'm looking at them like, well, go make one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Flush, come on, Flush. We just used to be around each other. You know what I'm saying? Fatal. I mean, you like, come on, man. You gotta love the thing. And if you don't love the thing, it's gonna be fucked up for you at some point. Because if you love the thing, then once you know how to love it, you're gonna be like, okay, what's the other part? The business? Oh, okay, I had a fucked up deal once before. You're not gonna sign 2 fucked up deals.
Nah. If you do fucked up.
If you sign 2 fucked up deals, you a dummy. That's on you. That's not on the record label anymore. That's not on your lawyer anymore. That's on you. So even if you signed a fucked up deal, but you got in it because you love music, the deal wasn't a bad deal. Just like Jamal said, what happened was you learned something. There's no losses in the music business. It's lessons. So once you get that lesson, you know, oh, next deal, there's no way that lawyer can even look at us for anything. Right. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, what's the worst part is, the music business itself isn't fucked up to rap alone. It's fucked up across the game. But the thought of the music business says, we're going to give you the chance to get it right. Mm-hmm. So when you get this contract that they send you, if your lawyer doesn't fight, then you're going to be in a fucked up deal. When I used to sign artists, I would tell the artist before I gave him a contract, yo, tell your lawyer to fight for your publishing. Mm-hmm. Yo, tell your lawyer to fight for more points. Because every contract is a negotiation. It's not this is all we're doing. Because if an artist, if a label wants you, if they want you and they know that your talent's all the way there, you have something to stand on. But
you got leverage.
Yeah, oh no, you got leverage like a motherfucker. If they
got leverage,
Look, I tried to sign Nas before everybody. I tried to sign Nas when he didn't have a demo. The nigga Akinelli brought the nigga to my office, and I was like, oh, I gotta sign this nigga. I was like, where's your demo? He didn't have a demo. I'm like, nigga, I am not the vice president. I am an A&R guy. I need a demo to sign niggas. He didn't have a demo.
I gotta bring something in their office.
I gotta do something. I had just signed DOS Effects. And so to them, I'm looking smart. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this little nigga's the shit. Give me a demo. I don't have a demo. Oh my God, nigga, is you serious?
I don't know why he ain't give you the shit that we was recording in the damn studio.
You know why? Because Ak brought him and not Large Professor.
What?
Yeah, because Large had all the music.
Yeah, and you have to know, at that time, I was in a bidding war with Interscope over Akinelli's album. And here's the crazy part, Fatal. This is what you don't know. It was going to be, I was going to sign Ak, and then I was going to sign Nas, and then I was coming for you.
Flex was trying to sign me a profile.
That's real nigga shit. That was part of the plan. Yeah. Was like, hold up, I'm going to get all the Large Professors niggas. Because Large and Paul C was my man.
Yo, Flex was
coming for all y'all niggas.
Flex was A&R. I said Flex was A&R at Profile, and I went to go have a meeting with him, and shit, he was trying to leave being A&R and be like, yo, let's start a group called Fatal and Flex. I'm like, nah, I'm good, I'm good.
Or I was up there for a little while. Nah, cause I love it, man. But back to the story. A lot of people, it's all with the money, man. Like a lot of our era people, man. When they didn't see the money come together, they kind of backed out of it. And I feel like when we did it, it wasn't always about a dollar. We wanted to make a dollar, but we wanted to make ourselves first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's what I meant in the beginning.
But I think what most artists don't understand is, like, as big as the music business seems, it's really this big. And that song has to fit in that space. And that song has to fit in that space at the right time. Because if that lightning don't strike in that bottle, you're gonna be over here and they're not gonna hear it. And then it could be an amazing moment that they're gonna miss if the lightning don't strike when it's supposed to. When I first heard Brand Nubian, I was like, there's not even a question I'm playing this shit. Because the gods were talking my language.
Unbelievable.
So I played that shit immediately. Motherfuckers looking at me like, what is that? And I'm like, trust me, the gods got it. I used to walk around talking about these niggas like they was my mans and I knew them already. I was playing their first single. Brand new. What? And then I met them and was like, I love y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying?
And
but
pop from there.
That lightning, man.
And for someone like you to play it at that time, that was like the ultimate cosign. Like, oh shit. Like, see, okay, you popping.
Yeah, but
Clark Kent said it's popping.
It's a lot, man. And because there's so many artists and so many records, that's what the artists have to focus on, is making a great record. It ain't about how nice you are. And God, I hate to say that. I want to make every MC who get a record deal super nice. I want them to be nice, because rap was a contact sport. It's not anymore. So because it's not, I have to look for the guy who's making the great record. Show me the great record. And that's what being in the music business teaches you. Oh, it's not how nice you are. Okay. It's about how good your record is. Now, if you're nice at the same time, that works out. Brand Newbie, Joe Fatal, Royal Flush, Capone and Noriega, they were good MCs making good records. Jay-Z, Notorious B.I.G., you know what I'm saying? Nas. I'm talking about dope MCs making good records. It's hard, man. It's hard.
I watch a lot of, like, even coming up. I watch a lot of my era. I watch a lot of artists grind. I watched from Capone coming out with a little chain to a bigger chain to more to Alexis. So I watch everybody's growth. I think nowadays a kid would come out, you've never heard a single, and he got $5 million worth of jewelry. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah. Before, there's different type of jewelry out there right now. We didn't have that.
No.
We had to really get jewelry for real. We had to get real jewelry back then.
No. I know jewelry. I'm the '90s slick Rick. I know jewelry. These kids got $2 million worth of jewelry on, and I never heard their song before.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they not into real estate. I Google. They not like they doing something out here to earn it or generate it. What is it? Your first streams? You get $1 million? How quick do they get the money? And we had to work so hard for it. I just want to know that.
Okay.
They're getting big advances. They're getting some big advances, and they're spending it all on jewelry right away. Most of them.
You get a top streaming song on like any of these. Like if you make it on Rap Caviar, you get on Rap Caviar, right? Your publishing deal alone you'll get like fucking $300,000, $400,000, and these kids are 17 years old getting that at once, and it's like they're blowing it immediately because they think they're gonna go do shows and do this and do that, but then a pandemic hits and a lot of those kids are quiet right now, and it's a weird time.
Yeah, it is.
And then you gotta also
have to understand.
Listen, you gotta also understand it's the 360, right? The 360 is these look money up front. Because the label has to invest. Like when we had to add a label, backing these shows. They put on the tours. They give it the upfront money. We didn't get all that money. Like they said, when you sign at 360, we're going to guarantee $1 million because we have to book these shows. For us, they didn't have to book our shows, so we wasn't guaranteed $1 million or that. So these.
Oh, I mean, I got a nice advance though.
No. What I'm saying is, 360. We got it in advance. Home to $2 million, but the label have to promote this show. The label didn't have to do certain things. The label have to promote its shows in order to give. Like before, we holla at niggas in the street. I was promoters. That's how we know a lot of street promoter niggas. And niggas, but they.
Your mic's fucking up, Paul.
Yeah, Capone, you keep warping in and out.
Yeah, your mic going in and out. Yeah. It's still going in and out a little bit, but I hear you.
But the label, you hear me now?
Yeah.
The label right now are booking these artist shows. The label. My label never booked my shows to recoup their money.
They never told me when people was calling. People call and try to book me, they wouldn't tell me.
They doing that though. That's the thing. Like that's getting a lot of money from it. You know, it's a different ball game. And we see these young niggas get money, and I ain't mad. But they got a gift and a curse. It's a gift and a curse. You got the 360, and then you got the conservative one. With the one-off, the label like, nigga, you recoup your money, wow, whatever. The 360s, they got to recoup their money. They make sure you get these endorsements. They making sure you get this and that. We didn't have that. So we came, we had the bottom. So we got 100,000, we had to get a $20,000 chain. Now they got 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. They can spend 300,000 on the chain because they know the people got to book those to recoup money.
Make their money back. That makes sense.
Make their money back.
I want to stay on that point because this week, Swiss Beats, in the last couple of weeks, Swiss Beats has been pushing to try to garner $1 million to pay the pioneers, and then Khaled, I think it was Khaled, E40 and GE.
Hello.
Yeah, and LL, and then they wanted to see if they can raise $10,000 for unemployed DJs. Do you think that this is something that we should, at the community of hip hop, have done a long time ago?
Let me tell you something, right? Can I say one thing, y'all, real quick? And then I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna sit back and be quiet. I've been in movies, and I've been in movies and all that, right? One thing about hip hop, we're the only culture who has a back. Like when you go into movies, you have AFTRA, you have SAG, you have all these entities that backs the actors and actresses. When you get into movies, get into a certain amount of movies, you can sign a SAG contract. You can sign an AFTRA. AFTRA is the life insurance, and it gives you benefits. We the only genre who don't have benefits.
Well, we have ASCAP and shit like that. You know what I mean? But it don't really...
There should be a 401k. There should be health insurance. There should be health insurance. There should be
shit that's hip-hop
when you go to a label, you're actually working for that label. So why aren't you getting the same benefits as somebody that actually works in-house at the label? You should be getting the same benefits.
Let me tell you why. The reason why you're not. Okay.
Look, they give us a certain amount of money and they expect us to fend for us.
They give executives a certain amount of money a year also, bro. Like they pay them millions of dollars a year. And they still got health insurance. They still got 401ks. They still got all of that. Why don't the artists do that?
The reason why you're not getting the benefits and you're not getting the health insurance is because they don't tell you about the union.
And COVID
the union is called AFTRA. If you make a record, you can be in the union. If you work for a record company, if you produce, if you do anything that's in the entertainment business, records or movies or TV, you can be in AFTRA.
Yeah, I remember hearing about AFTRA back then too. So for real.
No, we had it back then.
Yeah.
We had it back then. It's just that people didn't join. But here's the reason why. Because they made sure they didn't tell the brown folks or the people who lived in rap music, because that meant, damn, that's a lot of benefits we're gonna have to give. That's a lot of insurance we might have to come. That's a lot of 401k plans. We're not gonna tell them. We're gonna let them fend for themselves. But that's what they do to black and brown folks anyway. Static don't feel any ways because you know you brown with me.
Well, shit, I work.
I don't care what.
Fix your mic.
Yeah, fix your phone, dog.
Me?
Yeah.
You in and out.
I'm better now?
You're in and out, yeah.
I'm better now?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
I got an iPhone 11 Pro Max. I should be on point.
Well, I don't know if you're I don't know, brother, but you keep breaking it. I hear every third word you say. Every third word is what I hear.
I didn't get this through after. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you sound good now, though. You sound right.
Hear me now?
No.
Now you good. You good.
I hear you now.
Good.
You can't move. You gotta stay still with your Pro 11, 12, 13.
About Dame Dash, I don't care what anybody say about Dame Dash. He was always for getting these things that we're talking about, like benefits and things for the artists. May not been in the best form or way to get it, but that's what he would always wanted to get. And Clark, you said the best thing possible that I didn't even know, that we had those things back then. I didn't know this.
Yeah, me neither. I didn't know that. Clark Kent just schooled me with that. I didn't know we even had that.
I didn't know until he put me in my first movie, and he said,
I knew about after.
Make sure you sign up for SAG. Make sure you sign up for this, because hip-hop is not giving you this. But I'm going to put you in a movie, and this is going to grant you this. This is going to get you the insurance. This is going to be able to, I know that. And that's how I know about After and things like that.
I think that the problem the problem is that we have the ability to know, but we'd rather get to the money, so we're not going back to know. So we're just not approaching it properly. You know what I'm saying? And you got to approach it properly. That, I swear to God, that is the reason why anybody who came into my office, I always gave them some game. Yo, walk out of here and do shit better than this. So that you can't, so that a motherfucker can't look at you crazy. Or you know what I'm saying? Do better for yourself. Like you come to my office and you play your demo and the demo's okay, but I'm not going to sign you. I'm like, have you read The Business of Music? Have you read Kashif's book? Do you know about publishing? Do you own these songs? Who produced these? Do you know what their samples clearances is going to be like? If you don't have,
I wish I had any of my publishing.
Yeah. But see, I think publishing is one of the craziest things, because publishing is your pension plan. And I think the reason I left working at a record company is because when you sign a record deal, automatically, damn near in every contract, 50% of the publishing goes to the label. So the other 50 is what you look at like it's 100. So when you going back and forth, like if your producer says he did half the song, yeah, then he's supposed to get half the publishing. That half that you're looking at is actually 25% of the song, not 50%.
Because you
already had a 50 taken off from the gate from the record company.
Yeah.
And that comes in with your contract. You have to sign a publishing deal to sign a contract.
But the thing is, you didn't have to sign that shit. So I would tell niggas, yo, don't sign that shit. Don't sign it that way. Fight for your publishing. And, you know, of course, maybe your deal might come down a little bit, but let's say the shit does come down a little bit, but you own 100% or 75% of the song. It's different when you own more.
You know what's the crazy is when the world got put on the publishing, they found out Big sold his publishing to Puff for $300,000. The world realized how big publisher was, and we looked at Big as such a big artist, and they're like, "You sold publishing to Puff for $300,000?" I mean, that's the word in the streets. That was the word in the industry. But people started understanding that the bigger the artist you become, the more you're publishing. When me and Nori got out of Boy, Tommy Boy, they messed up. They let us keep publishing. And when Leo Coleman got us to deal with Def, he gave us a humongous deal because he understood what our publishing. Some of these labels don't understand what your publishing is worth unless you go and you sign a public. And once you sign a public,
shut up.
See, that's why these days don't understand sign an administration deal.
Right.
Admin deals are fine if you get with somebody who knows the admin properly.
But at the end of the day, Clark, you got to realize that in these days, everything is digital. So when you have an admin deal, you can kind of control your admin deal if you're on the web. As long as you I'll put this. If you're technically computer advanced and you know, you can follow your publishing. Before is because we follow our publishing. How the fuck we don't know what's going on in these foreign territories? We can't follow them. Now we can follow our record. So now I say the admin deal, like I'm not signing a publishing deal. Y'all can't rate me for 40 years. Y'all can't for 20 years because I admin deal. And you know who I learned that from? Nas. It was dealing with Royalty Network and things that I deal with them. I made a lot of money off publishing, but I also learned that publishing is the key to your future financial stability.
Publishing is your pension plan.
It is.
You know this. So now when I learned about administration deals, everybody looking at publishing now like it's foreign. Publishing deals foreign unless you're Britney Spears, unless you're Taylor Swift, unless you're certain artists of that caliber. We're doing now where you pay them a certain percent, you collect my publish, and that's that. But back then we didn't know that. So the labels then was giving you 1,000, and you thinking I'm getting 100,000 for my publishing, but you're for $1 million. But we didn't know that.
Speaking of the digital and everything, I hope everybody here has Sound Exchange because there's literally like billions of dollars that's not getting paid out. I've seen dudes literally get checks for like 80, 90,000 that didn't even know they had it.
I just got almost 20,000 for my first album that was just sitting there for 20 years and I didn't know it.
Wow.
Wow, they just made that a couple of years ago though. Like the Supreme Court passed a bill to let that come out, but that's actually almost 10 years now.
I've been up on Sound Exchange for a minute. I've been getting my checks regular every quarter. You know what I mean? And the Sound Exchange checks be better than the ASCAP checks. You know what I mean? Because it's all the digital internet shit.
Yo, what's it called?
Sound Exchange.
I got some soundtrack money that I need to make sure, you know what I'm saying?
Then go there and look for it. I found 20,000 laying around.
All the plays on Sirius Satellite go do that now too.
Yeah.
You ain't got the link to get your money. Come on, let's go.
But honestly, I think that's more for us because the new generation, they don't really care about it because they have 10 different outlets to get money. Whether it's sneaker deal, whether now you're on TV, whether it's YouTube, whether it's internet, they have so many deals that they don't even look at their publishing no more. They're just looking at what they can make right now and what other things is popping for them. So us, we got to go back because we had that. By the time my music coming out, ringtones was just starting. You know what I mean? These kids got so many outlets.
Plus, the most important thing for us, it was no digital right. There was no right. Clark, am I wrong or am I right?
You're right.
There was no digital rights in our. So every artist that came out pre-digital era, we should be fighting for our rights to all these digital royalties, all these digital residuals that is owed to us because the labels are still eating. It's a lot of.
Yeah, but remember, you got to think about it like this though.
Talk to me.
Because there were no digital rights. That clause wasn't in the contract. So we didn't sign off on digital rights.
Listen, y'all wrong. Y'all wrong right
Which
now.
means
You're
that we
wrong
should
right
have
now.
digital rights.
Hold on, let me make knowledge born. There's a clause in the contract, and y'all all seen this back in the day. It said technology that now exists or technology now to come. They planned for that shit already. They knew that technology was developing, and when you look in that contract, it says in that motherfucker, am I right or left, Clark, that about technology.
Every contract's different.
Yo,
that shit is in
you
the
guys are
contract.
basically saying the same thing.
Well, I see somebody tried to look into their contract to see if they can collect on that digital music. Huh?
Yeah, I'm sure you might try, but trust me, that's what that meant. Anything that they have now, any configuration now, or anything that comes in the future, that was in the contract. Read that shit a million times.
You gotta understand that everybody's contract wasn't the same. Like they might have not put that in my contract as they put that in your contract.
I hear you. Okay. Yup. You right.
So what I'm saying is that the people, even if it was in your contract or it wasn't, that's something that we should be following up on for people like us in our genre, in our generation, following up. Like, yo, let me see if this shit is in my contract. Because there's a lot of artists right now that are millionaires overnight if they do their homework. All they got to do is do their homework. Money out there. There's money out there for us to get our homework.
There's definitely money out there. Like, you definitely need to research your shit. Like, yeah.
Let's talk
about already.
Let's talk about the immortalization of hip hop. From the show in '95 to Art of Rhyme in 2000, Wu-Tang's Mics and Men, and now they have Big L's mini doc coming out, I think in May 29th. Are you guys happy with the representation of hip hop and the culture over the years through the media?
Who's going first?
In those instances you talking about? In those specific instances or in general?
In general. Yeah, I'm just giving you examples of what they had and, you know, the times of what they put out thus far. I know I saw something, and Capri's not on right now, but I saw something that he was really upset with the Big L mini doc because there weren't people that should have been, in his opinion, involved in the documentary to speak for him. So yeah, I'm just talking about in general what we've gotten so far.
I feel like, you know, once the media gets it, it's always kind of like a facsimile thereof, like it's, and we'll accept it as lovers of the culture and all of that. Like, for instance, when Wild Style came out, that was dope and all that. But I was a little disappointed that everybody had to rhyme off of the same fucking beat at that time. Like, let's keep it real. Like that kind of, to me, in a way, took away from it, because that's not what we was used to. We was used to hearing tapes where niggas would rock off all different beats, but we didn't understand, again, money is now coming into it. They didn't want to pay for a bunch of different samples or whatever the case, so they had that one beat that they paid for, and now everybody had to rock on that, boom, which became a classic and all that. But, you know, it's shit like that. Like, that fell short a little bit for me, but things about it was still dope, and we loved it. So I think in all those examples you give, it's kind of the same way. Like, it'll fall short in certain areas, but then in certain areas, it's like, all right, well, at least they telling the story to some degree. You know what I mean?
There's also 40 years of hip hop now, and it's like try to put that into 2 hours in any situation is gonna be impossible. I actually really enjoy if you guys watch Hip Hop Evolution, I think that kid does a good job.
Yeah.
Yes, I watch that Netflix.
That's my man Sasha.
Yeah, I'm in a couple episodes.
Hey, listen.
You warping again, Capone.
Yeah, you.
Oh, we can't hear nothing you saying, Paul. We hear nothing you saying.
That super iPhone you got, boy.
Fucking iPhone 11. Remind me not to buy that shit.
I got an iPhone too, though.
I got it. Works great.
I don't think mine is as new as his, though.
Nah, me neither. I'm probably on a 10. And my 10 great.
I'm on an 11 Pro Max.
I'm on an 8, man. I'm happy with my 8, man.
He got pro in his shit. He got the word pro.
I gotta take my shit and just do this.
It's not sounding very pro though, Capone. I can't even
Nah.
lie to you, bro. I can't even lie to you, bro. It don't sound pro.
So
Yeah, but you know what? It might not be working. Paul look like he is C76. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm in the studio.
All right.
I'm in the studio. I ain't in C76. I'm in my office, nigga.
we got.
I'm in my office.
So
I'm in my
hold on,
office. I got
so like
an office, man.
Clark Kent is static selector.
I can see the big blocks behind you and shit. The big blocks behind you and look like you
Hold up.
I'm in my
Your
office.
personal police elevator. So Clark Kent and like static. The sample situation. Now from your era to now, what's the difference with that with the producers?
Well, I think at some point, because of all of the ways that revenue streams can help an artist, I think the leniency of sampling is changed a lot. So, you know, you got to think, like, the artists who were bitching before about being sampled, they're all probably like, wait a minute, I'm not going to get another hit record. Let that shit go. It's just, you know, and the crazy shit is, in a second, sampling is about to be rampant because they're about to open up vaults that are just going to let people sample just because. And it's already going to be written in, this is how much we want for the song. And motherfuckers ain't going to be able to bitch about it.
Wow.
I mean,
They're gonna start selling samples and shit.
You got to realize most of the hip hop classics we love, like, weren't cleared to begin with. Like, a lot of them.
Right.
Yeah, a lot
of them.
And then, you know, now for like, I'm you know, I'm heavy with sampling, but when I'm approached by certain artists, I go to my sample free shit immediately because I already know the headaches that are coming with some of the shit. Like, there's companies now. I did a record on the Lox new album, and the company has nothing to do with the artist at all, the artists that I sampled, but it's some Wall Street group that owns the whole catalog, and they don't even say, like, let us check it out. It's just no off the rip, because that's not what they're doing right now. They just have catalogs buried, owned by billionaire companies that are just sitting, and they'll say no to everything. So it really gets disheartening sometimes, because you can have something that's so special to you that they'll just say no. To the point now where I think the future of hip hop, besides the legal sampling that Clark's talking about, is really messing with some of these new musicians that are making original compositions, not just playing on the songs, but literally, like, there's cats like Dream Life and a whole bunch of other dudes that make compositions that are original pieces of music intended to be flipped and sampled. Like, they'll make them like an old 70s sample or 80s record or whatever, and they want you to flip it. And I've been doing that a lot. Like, a lot of the big placements I get now, it's all sample free. And, you know, those kids are the same way that the old, what Clark's talking about, how people are going to allow you to sample now with a set fee and all that. That's how those dudes are working. Like, a lot of the cats I work with, you know, say I get 50% of the record before the sample, they'll just be like, yo, give me 20% and just keep it that way forever. So every single record I do with that musician now, I already know the deal.
So they're gonna have a whole website that's just gonna be for sampling and everything will be monitored like that.
They already got websites.
They already got it.
They already got it.
Okay.
Like, you go on TrackLib right now.
A couple of them.
If you go on TrackLib right now, you can sample Impeach the President, and it takes like 50% of your song, and you got to pay like $1,000 or some shit, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with Impeach the President. But the other songs, you can take an Isaac Hayes unreleased song that's on that site and get the stems and take the bass line and violin and flip it.
All that shit.
Take like 20% of some shit, and it's already done. They can't say no. It's already agreed to.
Wow.
That's why it's up there.
That's
good, because when I came out, they was. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Camille.
No. Go Flush. I'll go after you. Go ahead.
No, I was trying to say, because back then it was a sample I wanted. It was a church song, and they wanted like 70,000 for it, and we couldn't throw it out. But now you're trying to say there's somewhere I can go and there have it, set price, set everything now. That's good.
That's how they was playing it.
Even outside, your phone don't work, Paul.
Let's talk about Fatal stop. Let's talk about the art of DJing. It's a big part of hip hop. Has the DJ lost its relevance in these days, or is it gaining in popularity? I know it's a whole change of the art form. So I want to talk about the DJ.
Well, a DJ would have to talk like Clark Kent or somebody or Static, because you're going to get a different view from an artist and a DJ.
I started as a DJ.
Okay.
So
a lot of people don't know that, Jamal.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people don't know that.
That's how you became a producer.
Okay.
Hold on.
You know
All right,
I know.
another story before me and Capone started rapping, we was a group of DJs. Me and him was a group. We was DJs first. Always that.
Oh, and I'm gonna promote it right now. Hold on, I'm gonna promote it, y'all. I'm gonna promote it. Me and Pone are gonna battle. Me and Pone about to battle just on some Queens blend shit. Me and Pone is battling.
Just doing the verse.
That's
We're
the state of DJ.
We're gonna have to go ahead and do it, bro. We might as well do it live. Instagram.
I think the DJ has traditionally the way we know the DJ in hip hop. I think he's lost relevance as far as like, okay, and now here's a scratch from, K-Cut or whatever, whoever the fucking the DJ is, and then they had their little break section where the DJ is showing his skill and all of that. Like, motherfuckers don't do that shit no more. Like, the most that you hear is like people like Static or Premier where they'll have scratching on the hook and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, where the hook is actually a series of scratches. And those are the only type of people that's really keeping that type of hip hop shit alive, where the DJ is relevant at that moment. But now when it comes to other genres like that EDM and all that type of shit, the DJ is the shit. You got DJs making fucking $600,000, crazy shit,
Touring.
Yeah. And the DJ is the main thing. There is no really fucking MC. It's just some guy up there jumping up and down, throwing cakes in people's faces and shit,
I think we're gonna see a big change in what DJs are popular, especially in hip hop, coming out of this pandemic and when clubs are opening back up, because all the cool kids that are DJing all the One Oaks and the Ups and Downs and all these spots during the pandemic have been mad quiet. You go on their page, there's like one person watching. And the cats getting creative are now like, it's like therapy for a lot of people. All the dope DJs like have been the entertainers during this whole pandemic. So it's going to be interesting when these clubs start opening up again, watching who gets booked now. Because a lot of the popularity of just the random good looking chick that presses buttons and they book her because she has, she looks good or whatever. There's a lot of DJs like that in New York City right now. And it's going to be interesting watching how the change works now. It's like, think about D-Nice. D-Nice went into this being a celebrity DJ. He did a lot of private parties, a lot of, he was known from other DJs and other real hip hop cats. Now he's a full-blown fucking superstar because of what he did the first couple of days of the pandemic. And it's created a whole new energy out of things,
Right.
Right.
I think in my time, I think the rapper was more bigger than the DJ. So it was like Rakim, and then you got Eric B, or you got Guru, you got Premier. I think nowadays, the DJs think they can make an artist or break an artist themselves. You know what I mean? Like they took control of the A&R position because a lot of people's not signed to labels, and you got YouTube and all that. So I think the DJs is kind of winning now, so they can fix it. The DJs could bring the music back. If I listen to the radio and I heard Brand Nubian, I can hear the Baby and all that, but give us an hour, give us 30 minutes of real hip hop. We don't even get that.
Camille, can you do us a favor?
Yeah.
Just real quick, can you reiterate that question? Because I know he's got a lot to say about DJs.
Okay.
I want to say
Who,
one
me?
thing.
I know Russell's got a lot to talk about DJs.
Oh, hey, Russell Peters. Thank you for joining us.
Is that my wife, Camille?
Can I say one thing?
It is. We're talking about the DJ, Russell, and the art of the DJ. Has he lost relevance, or is it gaining in popularity right now?
Listen, the art of DJing is lost. The popularity of being called a DJ is very relevant. But the actual art of the game, understanding it, peeling off the front of your fingers from digging through records, understanding how much calluses you got on your hand from carrying crates, how many trunks you fucked up by throwing your crates in it, how many back seats you tore up trying to throw speakers in them, that's lost. So, but any jerk off now can become a DJ. They go buy a little fucking controller that's this big, and all of a sudden they're a fucking DJ.
You took Russell Peters, you took the words right out of my mouth.
As long as I didn't take nothing else out of your mouth, I'm good.
It's not
comedy.
Is that Clark Kent?
That's
What's up, Russ?
I see my brother Ramel in
Take pause, because that was a
I'm
here.
Pause. Super
I see
pause.
Static Selected with a green fucking light for no reason.
Look. One thing I can say about
You see what happens when you have a comedian come into a rap hip hop session?
Okay, I'm gonna allow you to say he's a comedian, but that comedian is a very dope DJ.
And he got his DJ equipment.
Oh yes he is. And he plays my songs a lot.
Can I say one thing, right? Let me tell y'all what took away from the DJs, right? When the records went away and motherfuckers could just go on a computer and mix any song and do anything. You got people got their kids online DJing. You got people that just got the two.
Is that the real Capone right now?
Yeah.
What's up,
it is.
baby?
You know what, Capone? Oh, yeah, that's Capone. Yo, Capone, you right about that.
Come on, son.
What set DJs apart back in the days was if they had records that other DJs ain't had. And they were like, yo, where did you find that record? Where did you find that record? And they couldn't get their hands on record unless they went out and dug.
Oh, shit, son! We gonna get it! How about the Clark Kent remixes and shit?
Yo, look, but DJs got fucked up once they invented them weak-ass mixer turntables. Once the Technic 1200s got taken out the equation, DJs got taken out the equation. Because when you come time to do a set, you can tell your man, yo, fuck it. I don't gotta book my DJ. I could book my man, and he could just press play on instant replay. What was that? Instant replay? That was the machine, right? That was the machine.
But here's the problem too. It's the listeners. They don't care.
They don't care.
People always want to be skilled.
People always want to be put on to something.
I can have my little cousin come and DJ.
The people don't care. They don't know.
Stop, go. It fucked the game up. And I love the DJ. I started as a DJ. I love the DJ. But that machine fucked the game up for the DJs because Come on. I got the thing.
No more. That must be. That gotta be cool, man.
That was my shit.
He'd come to the club and he would have a van full of records. Well, he wouldn't have a car, it'd be a van full of records.
Yep.
And I used to get in free because I helped.
Hey, what do you know about this, Capone? What you know about this?
I don't know. That's some niggas named Capone and Noriega record. I don't know who them niggas
Oh,
is.
yeah, I heard it before. I heard it before. Yeah.
Something about Left Rack City.
Something about Left Rack City in Queensbridge. That's our record.
We talked about DJs. Let's talk about beefs. Can we talk about beefs in hip hop? Nas versus
Can I
Jay-Z.
can I go completely off topic for a second?
Sure, Russell, whatever you want.
Bumpy Knuckles told me the illest Clark Kent story.
Okay, let's go.
I want to hear.
Clark, you listening?
Look at Clark. All right, let's go.
He said because, you know, Clark Kent can't collect sneakers.
I put my hood up and I'm hiding my face because me and Bumpy Knuckles go so far back. He knows so much shit about me.
I don't even think you know this story because he loves you so much he didn't want to hurt your feelings. So Bumpy told me that one time he went to Clark's place and Clark was like, yo, look at all my sneakers. And Clark's like, oh no, he went to your storage center where you had a bunch of sneakers. And you were like, yo, you were 13? Yeah, I'm a 13. I'm a 13. And you gave these ill fucking Nikes. And Bumpy was like, yo, this shits were fly as shit. He said, I put them on. I went to the mall. I was walking, and I walked right out of the shoe. The sole fell right off.
I believe that
because they were like in storage, but Nike don't make their shoes to last. But Clark they looked pristine. They were brand new. But he walked right out of the fucking sole and walked right into Foot Locker to buy another pair.
That's good.
You take the vintage out.
Bumpy feet.
I got a wild Bumpy Knuckles story too, but I'm not even gonna talk about that.
You know, I know him since I was 16, 17. You know, I got mad.
No, he said Clark's been my man forever.
Yeah.
You still might be mad at me, but I don't care.
Oh, he ain't mad at you at all.
So
Not even a
Russell,
little bit.
we're gonna take your little story and we're gonna start talking about beef since you started to tell people business. So now,
Oh shit.
Nas and Jay-Z, Kim and Nicki Minaj, Death Row versus Bad Boy. Are beef constructive in the culture of hip hop? Were they constructive, or are they?
First of all,
hold on.
You talked about real beefs versus generational beefs.
Right, and I'm saying, were they constructive to the culture of hip hop, or are they now used as manipulations to sell records and push streams? What's the difference?
Now it's fabricated now. It's like, hey, you got an album coming out? Let's start some sort of conflict.
The music changed. Music changed. Sound changed. I'm quite sure when I came out, I wasn't getting the same producers as Melly Mel and the Furious Five. You know, times changed. So you just gotta go. You gotta go with the change. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I go to a strip club now, and I might not want to hear Big Daddy Kane or Coogee Rap. I might want to hear The Baby. I might, things go for different sounds and different time age. I move along with it. I appreciate the producers now. It's all right. Daddy Selector still got that real shit. Clark Kent still got real music. So it is what it is. Times change. We're going to change.
I think she said beef, not beat.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, beef?
She said beef.
You know what? You guys have to speak Spanish to him. He's Cuban.
Give me some of that shit you smoking.
That was for you, Jamar.
Competition is great in hip hop. Like,
Beefs.
That man's on it.
Like Jay and Nas was fun. Like hearing the Locks diss, 50 shit like that through all these years is fun when it's on record. The Death Row Bad Boy shit was not that thing. Like that was just bad. Like
that was not.
When it's competition, it's fun.
Right.
Competition belongs to hip hop. I want to hear everybody battle. I'm about to battle fucking Russell. No, Russell, let's go.
When Melly Mel first got CCP and all that type of shit.
Static,
like
what
that
has been the best battle? What do you name one of the best battles in hip hop?
I say Shan and KRS.
Shan and KRS? Y'all agree?
Because LL and Kumo D.
That wasn't a battle. That wasn't a battle.
Yeah.
Fantastic Five against the Furious Five.
No, Fantastic versus Cold Crush.
That was a battle. Those were battles. Those are what you call real battles.
Yeah, that was real battles. Cold Crush.
Oh, you got Kumo D versus Busy B.
Well, you want to take back a little further, yeah.
I like Jay Kiss and Beanie Siegels. I like the Jada Kiss and Beanie Siegels, man. That was a good one.
How about Brand Nubian versus Grand Poobah?
Who? Hey, Lord Jamal. Hold up.
I'm trying to get you in here, Jamar.
You said
I told you. Brand Nubian.
Well,
but you got a comedian here.
I'm trying to start beef with the whole world. Remember when he was talking about Ice-T and all of that? Like, he was just trying to start beef with the whole fucking world.
I think, for me, Common and Ice Cube. Common and Ice Cube. No Vaseline was hard.
No,
NWA wasn't towards Common, though. That wasn't towards Common.
That was for NWA.
No, and NWA and Ice Cube was probably my number one battle. That was a good one. That was amazing. Yeah.
I think Common.
Nobody talks about Jay-Z and Nas?
That's the most iconic.
Yeah, nah, that was 2 songs apiece. These niggas did albums against each other. That was a big difference.
That was different. Like Jay-Z and Nas, I think that was dope. But for me, coming from Queens, from being on the inside of a little bit, I think that beef was more monetary than beef. Because it boiled down to who's getting more money, who's getting more plays, who's getting more.
Who's sleeping with this one? Who's sleeping with that girl? You know what I mean?
It wasn't like we're gonna take this straight music. Like it was
the biggest 2 rappers in the world at that time. Though.
We can't even say Biggie and Pac because unless you want to really say who shot you was to get, other than that, they never talk about Pac already.
Long Story Good Night. Long Kiss Good Night was a great song. Biggie really brought it to Pac in that song, but Pac was already dead.
Yeah, but Clark can tell you because I heard that earlier. That Who Shot You was done way before that beat shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, none of that shit.
You got the original version of Who Shot You. You heard that?
With Keith Murray in it.
I got it.
Yeah, I heard the Keith Murray original version, right?
Yeah.
That's the version with Keith Murray in it.
So that was dropped way before the Pac issue.
Way before they had beef.
But
he's saying they made the same shit.
Yeah, but sometimes people think beef is beef when it's not beef. We're looking from the outside in, and we're taking it from a different perspective, and we're thinking it's beef, and it's not beef. I think we gotta take on the real beefs in hip hop. Like Jay-Z and Nas was real beef. I'm not even gonna lie, that was real beef. Because once you mention the baby mom, kids, and all that, that's real beef. You know what I'm saying?
But nobody got hurt though. Nobody got hurt.
That's real. Nobody got hurt, Lord Jamal.
The real beef was the Pac and Big shit where niggas actually died over that shit. Like
But look, Lord Jamal, in all actuality, that didn't have nothing to do with their beef. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it hip hop. That didn't have nothing to do with their beef.
Hold on, let's keep it all the way funky.
That didn't have nothing to do with their beef.
First of all, they didn't even have beef.
They did. They definitely didn't have nothing to do with each other.
Pac knew, Big didn't do nothing. Pac fabricated that talk. There was no beef at all. That's why Biggie was confused. Like, why would you even say that?
Yeah, that's why Big never addressed any of that shit. He never addressed nothing Pac would come at. Big would never address it, bro.
But you know what? Sometimes when you drop a record and it sounds like it's beef, it becomes beef. I think that's what happened in that whole situation. Pac took a record that sounded like beef, that wasn't beef, and he took it as beef. Sometimes you get like, what this nigga say about me? And he didn't say shit about you. But you just want to take it like that.
He didn't do that at all.
The issue.
He didn't do that at all. He just fabricated a beef out of nowhere. He's a liar.
I mean, those two situations, those were two A people. It was Biggie and Pac. I think in the Jay-Z and Nas was kind of the underdog. But if Nas would have lost that battle, y'all Queens would have been fucked up. We'd have been fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So the LA and the Tupac shit. Yeah, that was LA and New York. So we was all involved. When it came to the Jay-Z and Nas shit, it was like Queens versus Brooklyn. Let's see if Queens could just hold it down. Jay-Z's on top right now. Let's just see if Queens could do it. So that's why it didn't get too balanced. It was more like good comeback. Good comeback. Great comeback.
But I think
good song. It wasn't as balanced.
Hello. Y'all don't talk about. Hold on, Pone. Nobody's talking about CNN against Dog Pound right now, bro. We talking about all these other people. What's up with LA?
There was LA.
That's
New York.
But look, me and Daz doing an album right now. There was never no beef. That was a situation where we trying to get on. We're gonna go at whoever's hot. Them niggas diss New York, we going at them. I didn't even know Daz. I ain't even know Corrupt. I ain't know Snoop. I ain't know none of them niggas. So it wasn't no beef till when I see them niggas, yo, it's on. Nah, we looked at an opportunity to get on. So I don't want nobody to ever look at it as beef. Nah, that shit wasn't no beef. That's why me and Daz.
I got drunk with Daz one night.
That shit was just a situation where we try to get on.
I got drunk with Corrupt. I got drunk with Jamar. I got drunk with Fatal, Static. I got a drinking problem, motherfuckers. I got drunk with Ramel.
Drinking.
I go to all your birthday parties.
Hey, Capone.
I go to your
we gotta get drunk together.
That's why.
Hey, we gotta solidify this friendship.
I
got drunk with Nori.
I just got three more because I know we all got to go. So you guys thrive on, all of you thrive on touring opportunities, club appearances. How have you been adapting now with this COVID and the quarantine and your artistry?
We doing what we doing right now.
Well, I think a lot of the people that's on this page, we had to survive. we had to survive through it already. So this is kind of easy for us. We already established ourselves to maintain on how to make money and how to survive going through all this new hip hop era and the harder ways for us to make money. So we got it under control. I don't know about the new artists. They must be having a terrible break. They done spent all their money and they can't go on tour.
Are you talking about right now? Are you talking about right now? Flush. We good, bro. We good, Flush.
We are.
I done told people, yo, we need the pandemic to be a little longer, man. I've been making more money during the pandemic.
Yeah.
I made about a 20-pack in the last 30 days, so I'm cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
No shit.
Sound like Fatal right now.
I think earlier you were talking about how you
just been in the house.
And I think this goes into that. It's about being able to move through each chapter smoothly, like, you know what I mean? Like, and be able to, I don't like to say recreate yourself, but just go into those different chambers that you have of yourself. You know what I mean? That might display different aspects of yourself. You know what I mean? So,
go ahead, Clark.
I mean, like, right? I've been doing my online thing. So, right now, when some shit like this happens, shit, I've been doing that type of shit. You see what I'm saying? Some people might have to start up from scratch right now. You know, my YouTube channel.
I think Eminem owns Jamar a check.
87,000 views, huh?
I think Eminem owes Lord Jamar a check.
Listen.
Yo,
you want to say Clark?
Hey, Russ, we're trying to start beef right now.
Yeah. Hell yeah, I'm trying to stir that shit up. I grew up with Jamaicans. I'm making some stew beef right now.
Stew beef.
I want each of you to tell me what's your greatest personal memory in hip hop.
For me, can I start this real quick?
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's for me, it's going to Hot 97, hearing Biggie on the Hot 97 and saying, fuck that nigga on Hot 97, I'm going to pull up on that nigga. And when Big came downstairs from Hot 97 and I went and rhymed for him, and he was like, I want to sign you to Junior Mafia. My life changed from then.
Wow, nice.
That was my biggest, for me, hip hop.
Well,
big record.
me,
and then, hold on. I seen him a month later in North Carolina, and he telling Nas about me. And Nas like, I don't know no nigga named Capone that rap. I know a nigga named Capone. He busts his gun, he do that. And he said he right there. And Big looked at me, and said that solidified my whole motherfucking life. That's why I knew I wanted to be in this game. That's my biggest accomplishment in hip hop, man. When Biggie looked at me and knew that he wanted to fuck with me. And then when we dropped T.O.N.Y., and he wanted to get on the remix, and he said, as soon as I come back from Cali, I'm going to get on the remix. And he never made it back from Cali. That was it for me.
I remember that. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Well, my shit was basically doing I did a song with Big L. I did a song with Big Pun. I did a song with Old Dirty Bastard. I did a song with Guru. Like I did a song with Prodigy. I did a song with Sean Price. Like all them artists that's not here and I did songs with. So blessed in my life to even do songs with them or even get to meet them. So that was my big accomplishment in hip hop.
I'm not gonna go big accomplishment. I'm gonna go probably the most important moment for me was when Grandmaster Flowers let me DJ at Lincoln Terrace Park when I was 11.
Wow.
Grandmaster Flowers was the actual first Grandmaster.
Yo.
Wow.
Mine might be, little to people, but I mean, I've been around some people in my life and done some things in my life. But when Tila Rock walked up to me and recited my whole verse and said, I introduced myself to him. And he said, I know you. He said, fatal is merciful and they cursed me. When I gripped the mic, I shut up. And that was Tila Rock. I'm in my yeah, I'm just saying, that was Tila Rock. That was Tila Rock rhyming that to me. His first artist on Def Jam, and he's rapping this shit to me, man. Like, and it was funny because I was talking to him one day, and Chad walked up, and Chad was like trying to play him to the side, like, nah, I need to talk to you right now. And I'm like, yo, Chad, let me introduce you to Tila Rock. And he wasn't even looking at Tila Rock's face, and he was like, yeah, all right, Fatal, whatever. And I'm like, Tila Rock, Chad, yo, he stopped, Chad stopped, looked at Tila Rock, and was like, Tila Rock? And it was like, you know what I'm saying? And Tila Rock just rhymed my whole verse to me, bro. This shit was crazy.
So Clark has to tell us. I know you have to jump. What advice before you go? And thank you again for gracing us. This was really special. What advice would you give to all the upcomings that want to walk in your shoes one day?
Walk in your own. That's one.
Because the shoes that Clark Kent gives you are fucked up.
You gonna walk away in the soul bus? Nah.
Yeah.
No, I see walks who can't keep a secret, bro. Like
what happens when you try to walk in other people's shoes?
Hey,
listen,
ain't nothing illegal about it. We good.
My thing is walk in your own shoes. Don't try to be like anybody else. Do it because you love it, and it won't be work. Like, I literally, truly believe if you don't love it, you should really not do it.
Thank you.
Don't do it because you believe there's going to be some money at the end of it. Do it because you love it. The money will get to you.
Love is better.
Right.
It's like a fart. If you have to force it, it's going to be shit.
It's going to be shit.
Thank you. Love you, Clark. Static, what advice would you give? And then, we're done. What advice would you give, Static?
The same thing, just, stick to what you fell in love with in the first place. A lot of people get in the game and then try to conform to some other shit to stay relevant. And that shit, it always doesn't look right and it don't work. I've had a lot of DJs call me through the years and been like, damn, man, you're still playing boom bap and playing this and that. They're like, yo, I wish I was able to do that, but I had to start playing EDM or I had to start doing this. And it's like, now I'm in a great position because I stuck to that. And, you know, you said something earlier. You asked everybody, like, what was the key to being, you know, around for as many years as these guys have. And myself, it's consistency. It's just keep doing it. Like, even that's with anything in life. Like, if you keep doing something, you're eventually going to win doing it with something. You just got to stay at it. And a lot of people give up because they get down about it. That's part of the journey.
Right.
And also get a green light.
Get a green light. I can change the color, by the way. I can make it pink for you. You know, I can do whatever you want. But
hey,
Static, it's on you, kid. Whatever you need to do.
We know you're getting a lot of money. We know you can change your shit to pink, purple, whatever. You know what I mean?
And he's got his own pool table in there, all of that type of shit.
Yeah.
I don't buy jewelry. I buy lighting.
Papa, what's your last words for us before we leave tonight?
My last words is I want to thank everybody for being on this, man. This is so amazing. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep doing this for hip hop. And I got personal experiences with everybody on this panel. And Camille, thank you for having me. You know, once you told me I would need you in the loop, I said I'm in. Yes. You know, sometimes I might not answer right away.
Yeah, y'all are special. All of y'all are very special.
I told you I'm there. Hey, Russ, I owe you some drinks. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
We can get it in. You
Ask Jamar. I mean? He knows I get busy with the alcohol.
Jamar.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, Jamar's my man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody here I have personal relationships with. And that's what makes it a
family affair, for real.
It's a family affair, you know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of all y'all in my own right. And I thank y'all for being here. And check this out, man. Y'all be safe. I hope y'all family stay blessed. And one thing about hip hop, we have to have camaraderie. We have to keep this going. Other than this panel, this discussion, I will hit you, Russ. I will hit you,
Word
Joe.
up.
I will hit you, Flush. I will hit you, Jamal. I will hit you, Clark. Everybody, let's stay safe. And I love y'all, brothers, man. I love you, sister.
Yo, Paul, we still got a battle. We got to set the battle date.
Let's set it, Joe. Let's set it. I'm in. My blends is ill. My blend game is up. And I got Flush my backup. Flush my backup.
We gotta figure out if we're still on this pandemic shit. We gotta figure out who's got a set that we could go do it live from.
Now we're gonna do
you in that
right here.
My birthday's June 10th, man. We can be around June 10th, man.
Look, we're gonna do Russell. We're gonna do Russell. You, me, Flush, and Rap. We're gonna get it in. We're gonna get it in.
Thank you.
Yo, I love y'all, man. I thank y'all. Man.
Thank you, Jamar. Thank you, Flush. Love you guys.
Clark Kent, thank you for my
Right.
People don't know. Clark Kent gave us our start.
Thanks, Russell, thank you.
Love y'all.
I want y'all to know that Lord Jamar will live strong.
He will.
Lord Jamar, my brother. I love y'all, man. Camille, much blessings to you, Queen. Keep doing what you're doing.
King, I appreciate it.
I'm with you. Anything you need, I'm here. I'm with you.
God bless. All right, good night.
God bless.
And thanks,
All right, good night, everybody.
Thanks, Fatal.
Russell, I'm gonna hit you.
You guys married?
Oh my God. Yes, we are, Russell.